Hey, good morning, everybody. How's it going? It's the morning show, and let's get started. Oh, it's nighttime where I am. No, it's daytime. Anyway, uh, yeah. So crazy news. Something happened yesterday. If you maybe you heard me mention during one of my live streams that I had some stuff stolen in December. Well, the cops called me yesterday afternoon, and they arrested a dude that had my property, and they impounded it. They're gonna sign some, I guess, warrants this morning, whatever, and then I can go pick up my property here after we get done. So, kind of crazy getting it back. I didn't think I'd ever see some of that property again. So, I guess good things come to those who wait sometimes. Yeah. Anyway, let's jump into what's moving here. So, popping over here. Got the S&P 500, but first let's talk about this guy, this S&P 500 chart. Now we have a potential, let's zoom right here. We moved up off that October low, topped out in December on that CPI print, dropped into the FOMC, dropped right on down here. Now we ran right back up, popped up higher on the FOMC this month, but it seems like we can top out in a 1 and get another nested 2 pullback. Now it can stop at the 50%, it can stop at the 618. We are getting a little red candle so far based on the Friday's action. If we zoom up right here, we can see we had that little red deal on Friday. This could lead to a pullback and maybe consistent with this daily chart. That was a 3-day chart I had up a second ago. So that's something to keep an eye on. Now, S5FI got a little pullback off that 70 level on Friday. And if we check that out on bar chart, we don't have live data yet, but consistent right here too. So we may see this pull on back just a little bit back into this 50 range, rebuild a little energy, and then we go on the next run. So right now, everything I'm watching is kind of consistent with keeping on a bullish trend higher, but we need a little pullback. And this little trend we got going in the S&P on the ES futures could see a pullback, and we could break below that little trend line of higher lows. It's kind of in a channel right now. We could see a little pullback, freak people out a little bit, and then pop again. NQ right up to the red zone, pulling back. Probably going to come back right to the roadmap line on the daily chart, right down in this area. Find support and move higher again. Something like, maybe look something about like that. All right, Russell, and right up to that, almost to the prior high from August. Almost. Not quite. And then pulling back a little bit. This is all, that was a monster move up, pull back. So lots of monster moves up and pull back. Dollar, look, you think I'd do that? Look at that. Right up there. Watch for this one. It could pop a little bit higher. We could come up near the roadmap line. It did that little spike down on the FOMC and then get that move up. Watch for this to find some resistance. It definitely can find it right here, because look, that was support, busted through. We could come right back up and test that zone right there on the dollar, right at that fib line. That's just a fib extension off of these pullbacks up here when it started to crack at the top. So watch for it to hold there and turn down. So we may not get as deep a retrace as it looks like I don't know. We'll see. All these things kind of come together in the end. So I'm looking for this to continue on down. And look at the bigger picture here. This whole move up, 618 level coming in right there, about 99. We could hold there. That was consolidation right there. We could hold that, or we could bust on down 786 down here around 94. but we could retest the entire move up and come all the way back down to this 89 area on the dollar. That would support the stock market going up like crazy. So just keep that in mind. Now, as for stuff moving today, AI looks like it's up a couple bucks. This is stuff that was talked about on Stock Twits. You can see AI, KAL, NIO. So we'll just run through a few of these. Check them out. These are on the trending list, not the most talked about list. So this is things that people are talking about more all of a sudden. So anyway, yeah, looks like breaking above that level I put it on here last week sometime. Didn't find resistance there, so this thing can go on higher. The next level up, probably somewhere in this neighborhood, up in there. It would not surprise me to see a continuation right up into this area. Just based on the charts there. All right, KAL. Yeah, getting a nice pop pre-market. Let's jump down some time frames. Zoom this puppy up. Ah, good morning, Kevin. Didn't see your message there a minute ago. So, looks like it popped on Friday after the close and just kind of sitting there, not really moving so far. Interesting. It's churning a bunch of volume, but it's not really moving. So watch for that high from Friday. If you try and get something out of this, there's resistance right there. ON announcing earnings. Beating on the top and bottom, but getting slammed a little bit. So they must have had not the best outlook, is my guess. And look at that, right up to the fib line. So yeah, you would expect a pullback. It had done a roadmap setup, ran right up to the 1272. And now we get the pullback. It'll probably come retest this zone right here. See where it hit. It was a high, a high, a high, a high, a high, and then it popped right up on through. Probably come back and retest that zone right there. If it can hold that, going higher. If it breaks down below it, we're coming on back down probably to this red box right here. So if we can find support, we're going higher. If we break down, coming lower. PayPal. Oh, rejecting off of the, yeah, I figured it would come back. It's gonna at least fill that little gap right there at the minimum. Looks like it already filled that gap. Potentially pretty darn close. So yeah, watch for that one to hold and move higher. Hold above that trend line, that's really good, but it just popped right up through the trend line to the roadmap line, found resistance right back down. So if it does that, holds support on that trend line of the highs, and then moves higher again, things are looking bullish for PayPal finally. NIO, found resistance and turned it down again. It would not surprise me to see a lower low there. RSLS, wow, went from 17 down to 6. That's getting crushed right there. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Yeah, got to be careful on this stuff. That's a biotech, and biotechs don't tend to, or I guess medical tech, but don't always follow my patterns. So PTLO getting talked about, doesn't seem to be moving a bunch though. See on the daily, volatile as a mofo. Gotta watch for that when the break back below the roadmap line. Watch out. Can go, golly, it can run right back down. MLab. Anything happening pre-market? No, not really. getting talked about, but I don't know. Tyson was announcing earnings. Looks like disappointed on the top and the bottom, and getting hit for it. So probably going to a lower low. Probably not finished going down. Let's see. Let's do a little projection here. Probably going to come down to 55 to 57. Right down in that zone. It's not that far away. $3 to $5 more. MSM. Yeah. Looks like got some hype going on there. I don't know what people are talking about. CMI announcing earnings, looking like it's beating on the top and the bottom. Not bad for making some diesel engines, and no real reaction pre-market. Looks like just kind of gonna wait until we start trading. CNA also, let's see, that one, yeah, reported earnings. Looks like beat on the top and bottom. Did it launch off pre-market? No, just kind of sitting there. That one's sitting on the roadmap line. It can pop out of here though. That's a potential 1, 2, 3, 4. We can get an extension higher. Energizer also announcing earnings. Disappointing on the top and bottom. Not too great. Looks like nothing really happening, but it would not surprise me to retrace right back down to the roadmap line there. All right, we got about 4 minutes before the market opens, so let's see if we can get through the rest of these. CTLT, nice pop. Look at that move. Up $13, almost $14, right into the roadmap line. Basically filling that gap. These things tend to fill these gaps with a vengeance. So yeah, watch for it to pull back a little bit, but staying up here is pretty bullish. Next resistance up would probably be right up here where it did this crap. You can pop right on up to that zone. Tesla getting a nice pre-market push. 200 is resistance up there. It's had a little trouble getting into that roadmap line. 1 day, 2 day. Is it going to do it today? I don't know. I think there's resistance right at 200. We break above that though, we can get back up to this trend line. It looks like my trading view does not do the best at keeping trend lines in the right place. So retest that trend line would be the thing if we can break above the roadmap line there. So up above, say 205 or so, we can expect a 242, 240, 250 price. It depends, it's coming down. This is a downtrending line, so the longer it takes, the lower the price. The quicker it goes, the higher the price. So currently, if it just popped up there, it's about 260. If it just went, that's a monster move though. It's what, another 25%? And I would definitely expect a pullback after that happens. So be careful if you're chasing Tesla. TSLL is another way you can play on that one without spending a ton of money on shares. If you just want to buy a couple shares and try to get a little piece. This one does not have the long history that we can look at, but would not surprise me to see this pop right up in this zone right there. All right. Spot next up. Yeah. Hey, Anil, if you want requests, come by tomorrow. We're just kind of looking at what's moving this morning. So, spot coming up to that prior high. Watch for it to either break out or come back down again. So, we could easily see this happen right there, or it can break out and move on to a higher resistance. It does have this little double top thing happening right there, and it just lines up with that 686 fib. Oh, IWM moving. check that one here in just a second. And Celsius Holdings. Oh, perfect. We're going to bounce off that roadmap line and come up here to this 129 target. Looks like. Yeah, I've been pretty bullish on the Celsius Holdings and Monster Energy drinks. So they're both looking pretty strong. Let's see, MSMN. Come on. Typed MM. Got my finger on the wrong key. There we go, Monster. Yeah, definitely pretty bullish on Monster too. So, all right, that's the market open right there. IWM had a gap down. Looks like we might get the gap fill to the upside. I've got to go get my title and stuff. And as I started out talking about, I've got to go get my proof of titles and stuff for my property and go claim it. So looks like IWM is about to work on this gap fill. So watch that thing. You know, it's like a 70% chance it's going to, 70% of days, I should say, 70% of days, it'll fill this gap here in the first, well, not necessarily the first little bit, but today. So it'll pop right up here to that level. Alrighty. That's what's moving today. Hope you have a great day. I got my 30 minutes of awesome tomorrow. I'll do another live morning show tomorrow. Seems to be popular. Everybody's liking these, so make sure you let me know in the comments or the chat if you like these morning shows, want me to continue, and I'll see you again tomorrow.